The most fascinating celestial body I can think of, if we remove the borders, is the one that may be exceptional in our sky. This one is Betelgeuse. It is a huge red supergiant star that would reach Jupiter's orbit if it were positioned where our Sun is. This enormous, very unstable star is about to blow up. It's not as simple as it would seem. Even though we cannot see it clearly, these enormous occurrences in the universe, such as the most intense supernovas, have the potential to upset everything we perceive. Betelgeuse is said to represent a red supermassive star, which is usually considerably bigger than our Sun. Astronomers like Brian Cox think it might soon erupt as a supernova. Because the James Webb Space Telescope has been taking amazing pictures of the star, people are becoming more and more anxious about what may happen. How big of an effect will Betelgeuse supernova explosion have on Earth, and when will it happen exactly? Let's examine a star in the majestic Orion constellation that is so brilliant that it was seen by ancient civilizations. The magnificent star Betelgeuse, which is the second biggest star in Orion and is located on the eastern shoulder of the constellation, gets its name from the fact that it is a shoulder star. One of the brightest stars in the night sky is probably Betelgeuse. As we shall examine, the star's distinctive red tint, in addition to its brightness, indicates possible danger. Betelgeuse has long been explored by humanity. Long ago, the Greek astronomer TMY made this observation. At the time, people's initial understanding of stars was their hue. According to TMY, the star seemed to have a reddish-orange tint, which is concerning. Scientists have been examining the star even more closely in recent years, and they now know much more about what causes it to be so remarkably bright. One of these characteristics is that the star's brightness fluctuates significantly, sometimes by as much as 0.6. Because Betelgeuse is a variable star, its brightness fluctuates over time. Researchers found some previously unobserved new characteristics of the star in 2019. Although Betelgeuse's brilliance greatly dropped, it didn't totally quit glowing. It decreased to around 1.6, which prompted scientists to look into why one of the brightest stars in the sky was acting so strangely. They wanted to know why Betelgeuse was acting in such a strange way. Their research suggests that Betelgeuse might detonate as a supernova at any time. Renowned physicist Brian Cox gave this concerning evaluation. His viewpoint is significant since he is a Royal Society professor for public engagement with research and a famous particle physics professor at the University of Manchester. His viewpoint is accepted since he publishes books and hosts popular scientific TV programs. According to Brian Cox, Betelgeuse seems to be a ticking time bomb that may detonate with little notice. The James Webb Space Telescope has produced strong evidence to back up this assertion. Despite the fact that a number of anomalies about Betelgeuse have prompted several inquiries, why does the variability of Betelgeuse behave in such an odd way? Betelgeuse has merited its status as a potential supernova candidate with the new data, but scientists are still unsure of the exact time of the explosion. This categorization is supported by the fact that Betelgeuse's mass is almost twice that of the Sun. Potential supernova candidates are typically stars that are at least several times as massive as the Sun. However, the story becomes more complicated since researchers have examined Betelgeuse using a variety of instruments, including the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory and the James Webb Space Telescope, to solve puzzles about the star. What they have discovered remains a mystery. Since its birth on August 31st, a very long time ago, Betelgeuse has been sending out weird signals that cast doubt on its destiny. What did they find? They saw strange light waves coming from the star, which heightened interest even further. However, this wasn't the only odd event. It reminds us once again that Betelgeuse is a variable star whose brightness varies. According to some tales, Betelgeuse had frequent darkening events that resembled sunspots on our own Sun, although the cycles were different. It alternates between light and dark phases twice as quickly as before. One more strange indication that Betelgeuse is acting strangely in February 2021. Scientists noticed that the star's fading cycle had reached a brightness band of plus 1.61. This came shortly after the star had gone through a significant dimming event that signaled the start of its strange behavior and raised concerns that Betelgeuse could be reaching the end of its life. Since the star's brightness decreased significantly between 2019 and 2020, hitting its lowest point Many researchers were certain that it will explode within the following 100,000 years. However, following this extraordinary dimming, things grew even more confusing when Betelgeuse brightened again. The star was now 150% brighter than normal, making it the fifth brightest star in the sky, according to physicist Andrea Dre of the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. Researchers were shocked to see a red glow coming from the southern portion of the sky. The issue was more perplexing. Numerous speculations about the reason for Betelgeuse's significant decline were triggered by this development. The fact that not all stars emit the same crimson glow as Betelgeuse must be emphasized. Betelgeuse is identified by its light as a red supermassive star, which is the last stage of a star's existence before it dies. This red coloration results from a surface temperature of around 3,500 Kelvin, which is much lower than the Sun's outer layer's temperature of about 5,500 Kelvin. Despite being significantly bigger and on the verge of blowing up, Betelgeuse transmits less energy per unit of surface area because it is colder than the Sun. Going forward, we need to take into account the remarkable dimming incident that Brian Cox raises. Does this really imply that Betelgeuse will explode? Betelgeuse is approaching the conclusion of its existence as a star since it is now in its red supergigantic phase. Scientists can see that a star in this phase will frequently dim as it dies, but Betelgeuse's recent strange behavior has made them even more interested in keeping an eye on it. Several telescopes are currently focusing on this enigmatic dimming event in an effort to learn more. The fact that scientists still don't fully comprehend Betelgeuse's behavior makes things much more fascinating. The star is being attentively observed by astronomers using state-of-the-art equipment. Since its debut in 2021, the James Webb Space Telescope has been one of the most useful instruments for astronomers collecting fresh, important information on Betelgeuse. The event produced a massive mass ejection that was around 400 billion times more important than a normal coronal mass ejection, according to telescopic photographs of the star's stunning darkening. The James Webb Space Telescope is a priceless tool since it can see objects that are undetectable to the naked eye, such certain light wavelengths and frequencies. Scientists have seen dust clouds that resemble leaves in space emerge on the surface of stars. A strange yet intriguing discovery. Even though Betelgeuse is definitely nearing the end of its life, scientists are still keeping an eye out for clues as to when it will blow up. Since nobody can pinpoint the exact time, it is thought that Betelgeuse is far larger than the Sun. Additionally, scientists anticipate that this bright red star will continue to shine for the next 10 years. However, it is difficult to predict if this prediction would come to pass after the notable dimming event due to the star's peculiar nature. Scientists do not currently expect Betelgeuse to blow up anytime soon, but if it does, it would be the first supernova seen in modern times since Johannes Kepler's discovery in 604. Because they are still attempting to comprehend the star's unpredictable behavior, scientists do not think it will occur very soon. When Betelgeuse finally explodes, it will be a unique and uncommon astronomical event despite this uncertainty. It will release a tremendous amount of energy, briefly shining brighter than the entire galaxy and visible even from Earth as bright as the full moon. Because Betelgeuse is more than 600 light-years away, the supernova will be an amazing cosmic event but won't directly threaten Earth. Nevertheless, it will give scientists a great chance to learn about the last phases of a massive star's life and the phenomena connected to such an explosive event. The unavoidable end of Betelgeuse serves as a reminder of the universe's immensity and unpredictability in addition to being a scientific curiosity. The life cycle of galaxies depends heavily on stars like Betelgeuse, which provide the universe with ingredients necessary for the formation of new stars, planets, and maybe life itself. Such a star's death is a change rather than an end, since it releases heavy components that will give rise to other stellar systems. Meanwhile, researchers keep an eye on Betelgeuse, assembling the jigsaw of its future with every new finding. As the mystery around it deepens, our comprehension of the cosmos expands. Perhaps one of the most remarkable occurrences in the universe will occur in the years to come when all the pieces of the jigsaw are solved. Betelgeuse's transition from a gigantic red supergiant to an amazing explosion. Until then, Betelgeuse will continue to shine brilliantly in the sky, serving as a reminder of how transitory life is in the cosmos. The astronomy world is becoming more and more excited as scientists continue to observe Betelgeuse. Every new discovery adds a piece to the jigsaw, yet the enigma still exists. When is Betelgeuse going to blow up? Early in 2025, the James Webb Space Telescope saw yet another strange change in the brightness of the stars. In contrast to earlier oscillations, this dimming episode was followed by an abrupt flare of infrared emission, suggesting that the star was undergoing a significant internal change. Quickly mobilizing, astronomers aimed powerful telescopes toward Orion's shoulder in the hopes of capturing what may be the start of a momentous event. Then there was a breakthrough. Researchers discovered weird ripples in the surrounding cosmic dust shock waves emanating outward from Betelgeuse at an unprecedented pace using Chile's extremely big telescope. This indicated that the outer layers of the stars were quickly expanding, a behavior often seen in the last seconds leading up to a supernova. There was a lot of speculation. Was this the day that mankind had been anticipating? Would Betelgeuse blow up in a matter of days, weeks, or months? Around the world, observers braced themselves for the potential to see the greatest spectacular celestial show in recorded history. The sky above Earth then brightened in a moment that would permanently alter our perception of the universe. At first, there was just a faint additional light in Orion's well-known form, but after a few hours it was evident. The Betelgeuse was changing. Astronomers and amateur sky watchers alike stared in wonder as darkness descended over the globe. The star had changed from being a blazing red to something else entirely. It was developing, casting a ghostly radiance that rivaled the moon over the skies. In a week, it was apparent, and unsettling, enduring light in the sky even throughout the day as the explosion occurred in real time. Scientific organizations hurried to collect information. The incident offered a previously unheard-of view into the dynamics of a supernova. Hubble and James Webb, two interstellar medium space telescopes, captured stunning images of Betelgeuse's last moments, showing swirling plumes of gas and radioactive elements rushing outward at millions of miles per hour, from the core's collapse to the explosion's impact on the surrounding interstellar medium space. Then it took place. The core fell apart. In a moment, an explosion of energy equal to billions of stars was emitted by Betelgeuse. Neutrino sensor on Earth detected a massive wave of particles flying faster than light itself across space, proving that the explosion had reached its height. For a short period, the explosion outshone the whole Milky Way, an event visible even on the planet's far side. For weeks, Betelgeuse light dominated the night sky, changing the constellations that humans had recognized for generations and creating weird shadows on the ground at midnight. The globe was enthralled with the cosmic drama taking place above. Social internet was ablaze with pictures. As scientists monitored the growing shockwave, amateur astronomers documented their findings and news organizations provided real-time updates. However, the star's brightness started to diminish as the weeks went by. The once dominant radiance of Betelgeuse dimmed as it withdrew back into the cosmos' furthest reaches. Only a dim nebula, a cloud of burning gas, remained where a blazing titan had burnt. The beginning of something new. Scientists examined the leftovers of Betelgeuse's explosion in the years that followed, tracking the development of heavy elements that would eventually give rise to new planets and stars. The incident turned into a significant turning point in astrophysics and demonstrated how the universe is constantly changing and developing. As we looked up at Orion's shoulder, where Betelgeuse once appeared, we knew that somewhere in the depths of space, the elements from that ancient star were drifting, waiting to become part of something new. Even though Betelgeuse was no longer there, its legacy persisted because it had given humanity a front-row seat to one of the universe's most powerful transformations. A reminder that even in destruction there is creation. Maybe a new celebrity or maybe life itself would emerge from Betelgeuse's ashes in a different era and continue its tale into the future.